Welcome back. This is still the POLITY reaching you live from Abuja. Like I said before the break, we'll be delving into the issue of the NNPP and alleged rift within the party. Let's take a look now at who will be joined. We've been joined now by Mr. Dipo Olayoku, who is the National Secretary, NNPP. He's here to do some justice to what is being said to be going on within the party. Good afternoon and welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amadi. Good afternoon.
It's good to have you. All right, I'll delve straight into the issue so that we don't dally around. Just last Friday, Mr. Abba Major was here, and he made some allegations about the party, that what really began some of this issue was that some chairmen were suspended, and that the founder of the party invoked a section of the Constitution to sort of reinstate these people, and then the rift started and he was removed and so on and so forth. You know, is there any truth to this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. And then, like I said, good afternoon, viewers. Yeah, it is just very, very unfortunate. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the program, but going by what you just said, it is preposterous for an individual to have claimed to have to override the decision of National Working Committee. Every organization, especially a political party, is guided by what is known as the Constitution. And the Constitution is not just something that came from the blue. We must have drafted it, presented before the various organs of the party, approve of it, then you take it to the regulatory agency. In this instance, the INEC. Because when you're talking of a political party, no organization can transform into a political party except it is registered by INEC. And the various organs of the party, especially the National Working Committee, the NEC, are always subject to INEC's approval, except the board. So when the NWC takes a decision, it goes to the NEC. And after it has been ratified by the NEC, it goes to the National Convention. And once it is ratified by the National Convention, that is the final. No individual, no any other organ has been given the power, based on the constitution that we operate, to override the decision of the National Working Committee. So there's no such thing in your constitution? There's no such stipulation in your constitution? No. There is none. And you see, when the constitution of a party states the board, it does not give the right of the board to an individual. When you say board, you mean a collection of some people that might have emerged through the process stipulated by the constitution of the party. So one individual cannot represent the board. So going by what he said, maybe there's a need for us to lay the foundation for what really happened. Because, you know, every organization that toys with discipline or indiscipline is destined for destruction.
All right, I'll give you the opportunity to, you know, like you said, lay the foundation. But I just want to quickly ask, he mentioned that the NWC is incomplete and that around the time of the convention, some persons dropped to become candidates and the positions were not filled in the right way. So the NWC wasn't really complete to make decisions. How do you respond to that?
Yes. When we started, that was in February/March 2022. Then by the time we entered into 2023, even before 2023, when people started signifying their intention to contest election, so members of the NWC then that was constituted in 2022 dropped. And they were duly replaced. And at the convention of June 7, 2022, where the candidates of our presidential candidate emerged, these people were ratified by the National Convention. And that is the law. INEC witnessed the situation because if you, according to Section 82 of the Electoral Act, if you are going to have either NEC or NWC that has to do with election of people into offices, INEC must be there. INEC was duly represented on June 7, when those who dropped out because they wanted to contest election, their replacement were ratified. And I'm talking of legal advisor. I'm talking of National Organizing Secretary. Are you getting my point? They were ratified by the convention. So every individual that dropped because of political ambition were replaced and ratified either by NEC or by National Working Committee.
Oh, is there a process to this replacement? Do random people just...
No, once there's a nomination.
Okay.
Like if you are from Kaduna State, you are in the National Working Committee, and you needed to go and contest election,
Yes.
you would drop out by resigning. It is the duty of that state, or the zone, even the state, to now bring a replacement. And the replacement will be acting in that capacity until the NEC and NWC ratifies it, because it's like the election. So the NWC ratified these two positions and the other positions on June 7. And those who even came after them, just about 2 or 3, were ratified by the NEC. INEC witnessed, and INEC took notice of this, and it's in their report. So there's no one in that NWC today that is there illegally or against the Constitution.
All right, that's fair enough. Because I did ask him, when decisions were being made, why didn't he speak up?
Why?
Why didn't he initially speak up? Because he was part of the NWC.
Yes.
And I believe
up till August 24.
Okay.
When he was suspended.
All right. So he made some, other allegations that the national leader, although the national leader, Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, was behind some of these persons being imposed on the party. I really like to know, if you can now break it down, what's led to this rift? As far as we know, the NNPP was won all the way up to the election and even afterward, and then suddenly we start seeing members expelling members, factional chairmen. What really led to this rift? And it seems to be something of the old NNPP versus the Kwankwaso movement which came in. So what's really happening?
Yes, interestingly, I am a member of the old NNPP. Up till February last year, I was in charge of strategy, planning, and research. And the other members are also there. Now, let us lay the foundation now. It is normal after every event. Every organization should do like an introspect. What really happened? What really happened in this process? Immediately after the 2023 election, the party sat down. Yes, we wanted to win the presidency. We had what it takes to win the election. But unfortunately, some things happened. Then what happened? Like in Yoruba land, they said when a child or a child falls down, what does he do? He goes ahead. But when an adult falls down, he looks back. What happened? Why did that stumble? So that was exactly what happened in the case of the 2023 election. We had our expectations, but we didn't meet the expectations. What happened? We sat down, and it was a decision by the presidential candidate of the party, Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, and the founder of the party, we call him founder, Dr. Bolu. The two of them met and said, what happened? We had expectations, we didn't meet it. They said, okay, the person is based on what the WC was proposing. There was the need for us to do like an introspect. Let us look at what really happened. Then we went into the field. We set up a committee, disciplinary committee, as outlined in the Constitution. And interestingly, Major, the former National Public Secretary, was a member of that committee, disciplinary committee. Then reports started coming from the states. I will only give you 2 examples. I am from Ogun State. My former chairman that has been expelled, some few weeks to the election, went on the radio. Not even before then, he went to a gathering. He had his own governorship candidate and all the members of the House of Assembly that wanted to contest election. Only for this one to attend an event, I was referring to the deputy governorship candidate of PDP as the incoming deputy governor. The tape was sent to us, but because the elections were approaching, we didn't want to create a problem, we just overlooked it. Presidential election was held on 25th. On the 16th of March, I will only give you 2 examples. On the 16th of March, this guy organized like the final rally for the party, because by 17th, which was a Friday, Electoral Act says you cannot engage in any political activities. It is banned, 24 hours to election. So on Thursday, March 16, he organized an event where he invited members of NNPP from across the Ogun state. They were having the event, and by 5 o'clock, he left the event that he wanted to go and ease himself. Only for the guy to be seen on radio in company of the government candidate of PDP, where he was endorsing the person. They sent the tape to us. That's one example. Then in Delta State, our former governorship candidate, on the day of the election of governorship election, the day of the election, in the evening, he posted on Facebook congratulating himself for delivery. You know, when you say to deliver in politics, that means you have made your party or candidate to win election. Congratulating himself for delivering his word, his polling unit, his word, his local government to the PDP candidate, a chairman of NNPP. So those are some of the things that came to the attention of the National Working Committee. And a national committee was set up. Major was a member of this committee. The committee sat down and they submitted their report on the 27th of April. Duly signed that these two guys, the chairman of Ogun State, the chairman of Delta State, because they invited them to appear before the panel, on 2 occasions they didn't come. They were expelled. The report by this same majors committee was brought to the NWC meeting of April 27. And their recommendation, these guys should be expelled. 3 of them were invited. While the chairman came, made good representation, and he said, okay, they asked him, go back home, go and reorganize your home. While these 2 guys who didn't appear before the panel were expelled. Major was part of the committee, like I said. The committee brought their report to the NWC of April 27. All the committee members agreed that that is the decision of the committee. And the committee's report was adopted. And Major, being National Press Secretary, was asked to go and address a press conference to tell the world that these 2 guys had been expelled. And he did that. And we discovered that each time he did this, there were reports that he would call this chairman and tell them that he didn't know about it. And so this thing continued, the committee continued. And again by July 28, the National Committee came up with their second report that indicted about 5 or 6 chairmen. And those ones, they are committees, when you say the committee, that is the executive committee at the state level, and the local government level, at the ward level, were dissolved. The same thing we did on Ogun and Delta. And later we got that, because it was expected, because the constitution is very clear. If the NWC takes a decision and you are not satisfied, you can appeal to higher order, either the NEC or the National Convention. It's very clear in the Constitution. It is against the law of the party for any member of the party to take the party to court without exploring and exploiting internal mechanisms. Now, these guys just jumped from the receipt report, they went to court. And that was automatic expulsion. So those are the things that were happening. And we just got to that all of a sudden, these guys that have been expelled, there were allegations that the National Political Secretary was having meeting with them with a view to forming what they now call parallel. But you can only form parallel in an organization if you are still a member of that organization. But unfortunately, by August 29th, at the National Executive Committee meeting, these guys were expelled. And the matter was taken to court, and the court gave a restraining order that they should not parade themselves as leaders of the party. The order is here, a court order. Oh, you like to have it?
Yeah, okay.
So you cannot have a faction, because I hear some people talking about faction. You cannot have a faction by a group of people that are not members of a party. You can only have a faction when you have some members of the party that say we disagree with you, we are going to. But when you have been expelled, you have ceased to be members of the party. And that is the position of things according to the law. And you see, every action that we have taken as NWC, we informed INEC, because INEC is the regulatory agency for political parties. And once we inform INEC, INEC will now take this thing and send to their states, so that the state REC we stop recognizing those guys as members of the party.
Which so does INEC recognize you as the party? Does INEC officially recognize you? Did they respond to your messages?
No, they did. Because when we do any action we carried out, we informed INEC. When we appointed caretaker committee, we informed INEC. And INEC has started recognizing them.
All right. You said you were a member of the NNPP.
The old NNPP.
The old NNPP. The allegations are that there was an MOU signed between the founding member of the NNPP and some groups, that made up the NNPP and thereabout, and then the Kwankwasia movement and the presidential candidate himself. That MOU, was it will I say fulfilled, or did all parties do their part?
Yeah, because when you are going to a political party, you're not talking of a business concern. Political parties have their structures as stipulated by the Constitution of the country and then the Electoral Act. Like I said, I was a member of the old NNPP, and our understanding as from February 28th to March 1st, 2022, was that all those things ceased to be in existence. What we have as from March 1, 2022 is a political party according to the structure recognized by the Constitution of the country and the Electoral Act. It's a political party that has a provision for everybody in the country to be a member and to aspire to any position for that, as the case might arise. So that is the way some of us see politics. Let me even give an example. You see, at times when we are talking about MOU, is it not interesting? Because when we are doing the negotiation with the Kwankwasia group or the TNM, myself and Major represented the old NNPP. And some other three guys, Comrade Tunde Oke, Honorable Philip Aruno, and Honorable Anne Obote. But most of the meetings, myself and Major were the ones attending the meeting. In one of our meetings, which is very, very curious, and that's why some of us are asking questions, we have 37 states. And when these people ask, where do you people have structures? That wherever you have structures, we will not tamper with them. It was this state major that told them that we have structures only in 11 states out of 37. I mean 36 plus Abuja. If you are going to negotiation with a new organization and you are telling them that, yeah, you call yourself a national party, but you have a structure in only 11 out of 37, what is the pressure you are giving them? What the pressure you are giving them is that you are not on ground. And it is not coincidental that his own state, Benue, was given as a state where we don't have structure. Is it not curious that the state of the founder, Dr. Boniface Okezie, that's Anambra State, was given as a state where we didn't have structure? And we're not talking of MOU. When you have portrayed yourself as a party that doesn't have the structure in 26 states out of 37, don't you think you have portrayed yourself? So that's exactly what happened. And eventually, when these people, when they came, because out of magnanimity, that's what I call it, they said, no, you cannot have somebody who are giving this party to us, giving in quote, and we are going to be the one to set up structure in his state. They said, no, sir, doctor, that's founder, go and give us structure in your state. Although Major has said you don't have structure, but we give you the liberty, the freedom to go and set up structure. In Nasarawa State, where we claim we have structure, in the process of implementing this thing, the chairman called me one day and said, Oga, I'm not capable to be a chairman in this state. Let us give this state to these people to set up structure. That was the situation that was on ground.
So there was no impositions anywhere. There were no impositions, like maybe the presidential candidate imposing things on the party.
No. You see between 24th of February and 28th of February, Major and I myself were engaging with those people in serious conversation because we had a deadline to beat other. The deadline was March 1st. So when we came in March 1st, what we did was, since Major has told them that we have structures in only 11 states, we were given the right to go and bring members. either into the local government, into the state, into the world, and what in this state minus Nasarawa, who told me that he can't stand these people. Let us give it to them. And then they now considered Anambra, that the state of the founder, though Major said the man doesn't have structure. So what we did was, by March 1st, a caretaker committee was set up at the national level, where I was made national secretary, Major was made the national police secretary, caretaker. And this caretaker committee only operated for 1 month, because everything had to be done to beat INEC deadline. And INEC witnessed every of these activities. So between March 1st and March 30, we had CTC, that is caretaker committee. And this caretaker committee was given the power to go and set up committees at the state, local government, and ward level. So by March ending, the caretaker committee existed only for 1 month. So by April 1st, INEC witnessed everything. We now have what we call the substantive positions. And these states, our 11 states, were given the power or the right to go and set up structures in all these states. So we had to organize what we call congresses to elect people into the ward, into the state, and then into the ward, local government, and state. No, but we had a delegate. And INEC witnessed all these things because we mandated these people to go to their wards, that INEC must witness everything. So the question you ask is, where did the Excellency, where did they impose anybody? Because there were congresses where these people emerged as local government or ward ESCO, local government ESCO, and the state ESCO.
What about offices and so on? Offices, the one in, I believe, Area 11 in Abuja, okay. And I believe there's another location. We are seeing people on the other side saying that this is just personal property of Senator Kwankwaso. Was that out of the goodness of his heart, or did the NNPP have no structure on ground in terms of offices in Abuja?
Like I told you, I think the problem was when we started. Because I was thinking that if you are going into an agreement with what we call supposedly strangers, then you don't tell them you are weak. You always negotiate from the point of strength. If at 37 states, not that they told us that, okay, you are going to take this state. They asked us, where do you have structures? Then we know that they claim they have spread in all the 37 states. But as a matter of respect for you, where do you have structures? He told them we have structure in 11, that you guys can take 26. That was the big problem. FCT was never given as our own. I mean, when I say our own, old NNPP. NNPP was considered. The states were to major claim that we have structures, Osun, Ondo, then Imo, and some few states. Nasarawa, the Nasarawa guy was one who called me, said, okay, we don't have anything here, let people take it. Like I told you, Anambra, we said we didn't have structure. But those people say, as a mark of honor to the man who has been funding this party, let us give him an Anambra. Though they just said we don't have structure. So now the question you answer is, where did the position come? The 11 states where we said we have structures, they said you guys go and set up committees there, from the ward level to local government to state level. And then that one culminated in the National Working Committee that was inaugurated on the end of March.
But is it safe to say that they've taken over the party?
You say?
Is it safe to say that they've taken over the party?
Yeah, because like we said, if we ask them to take 26 out of 11, you have more or less considered the party to them. But even like that.
But what about the treatment in terms of how the original members are being treated and being carried along? Is it fair? Is it, even if 26 was given to them and you retained 11, how have those 11 been treated in terms of the relationship?
Well, to me, because once we formed the committees, either at ward, local government, state, up to national, what matters is most, what can you bring to the table? The office we have given to you, are you doing perfectly very well? If you are made the chairman of a state, and you have gone on television to say your party has endorsed another candidate, and the party decided to punish you, how is that one somebody taking over the party? There are rules and regulations that guide the activities of members of a party. And a member decided to go on television claiming that the party, without even consulting anybody, even within the state, and the party decided to punish him based on the law. How can you blame anybody for imposing anybody? I think there is the need for us to, if you are talking of building a new Nigeria, which our name implies, we should at all times go by what the law says. What does the law, what did the law say on this activity or on this action? And let me tell you, out of about 9 states that have been punished, coincidentally, if we are talking about the old NNPP, because some of us believe that we have transcended that level, 5 belongs to them, 4 belongs to us. Why can't they accuse the NWC of punishing them instead of more than the old NNPP? But like we said, the type of policy that we are practicing shouldn't be talking about old NNPP and NNPP, because we are building a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria where laws are made and laws are followed. I don't think there's any political party that will tolerate his own chairman going on radio, television to say they have endorsed the other party candidate without consultation. Right. Even members of his own status quo.
Yeah, it's tantamount to anti-party activities.
It is as simple as ABC.
All right. Going in extension of that, there have been allegations and talks here and there that the national leader himself is hobnobbing with other parties. We've seen in meetings with President Tinubu. We've seen, different deliberations and so on and so forth. And people that accusation has always lingered. Some even say it's very close to the NNPP, being, inculcated into the APC, so to speak. And these were some of the things that Mr. Major also, spoke about, that there were questions of that, and that the national leader was called to some sort of committee or hearing to defend himself on an alleged misappropriation of funds. So what really happened there? Is the national leader clean and clear in all of this, or does he have some level of questions to answer also?
Yes, because individually we all have friends in other political parties. Because when the allegation came, some of you were just laughing. Before the election, there was this clamor, even for people in diaspora, that it would have been better if NNPP and Labour Party would come together everywhere you went to that time. And in fairness to Labour Party, they reached out to us as a political party. But at the level they reached out to us, we felt we should insulate the presidential candidate of our party and then the party itself. So in all the interactions, I think about 1 or 2 interactions that NNPP had with Labour, no member of the NWC, our NWC was not represented, and His Excellency never had one-on-one meeting with Labour.
What NWC, yours or the Labour's? Which one?
Even our own.
Okay.
The people that came for negotiation, then there was discussion, were Chief Victor Ume, this man from Ogun State, Doyo Okupe, and another person. And the people they met with were rather Dr. Bafa, Popakaladima, and one other person. The leader never had any contact with Labour Party. But unfortunately, when they reported back to us that what those guys wanted was not really a collaboration, but they only wanted Nito Kwakwaso to be the VP of Labour Party. And the question was, as at that time, we already have our candidate and his VP. We already have our candidates across the country. So why is it going to possible? Where are you going to run? If you say you wanted our candidate and your candidate to be president and vice president, that was how that one couldn't see the light of the day. Then immediately after the election, and there was this turmoil, so to speak, let me just use that word advisedly, in the political landscape of Nigeria, immediately after the election. The party met and said, yes, in terms of being shortchanged, we were shortchanged in that election. How do I mean? If you look at the ballot papers that were sent across the country, if you look at the logo of NNPP, it was not universal. And when I say universal, I mean they vary from state to state. Like the one they brought to my own state has this color, the cloth of the dress wearing, as our own logo. Whereas our logo is green, white, and blue. To the extent that my woman even got to the polling unit on that polling booth on that day, he looked through the ballot paper, he couldn't identify our logo. He had to call me, she had to come back. Okay, your ballot paper is not on your logo is on the ballot paper. So we had genuine reason to go to court. But we looked at the temperature of the country that time, that we shouldn't add to the temperature. The party met and said, no, we are not going to court. Instead, let us look inward to look at the activity of some of our members that truncated our dream. Then we can use that one to build until 2027. I wouldn't know, maybe that was why Tinubu, the president-elect then, he was the one who invited our candidate for a talk. He had been announced as the winner. Then one evening, we had what we call the caucus meeting, and to the glory of God, I was part of that caucus meeting. There was 13 of us at that meeting, where the leader, the Excellency, now said he got an invitation from the president-elect to hold a meeting that he threw it into the open. What do you guys think? And on that day, 11 of us spoke in favor of him seeing the president-elect. The elections were over. So what is the big deal? This man has been announced as the winner. If we are thinking of building down the temperature of the country and this man wants to see you, it behoves on you as a mark of respect to go and meet him. Only the leader, that's President Ambakaladima, did not say a word on that day. 11 of us that were there supported him to attend the same meeting Tinubu, and that was the time they met in France. And when they met, he came back. What he said, well, they are discussing how the country can move forward and where the party can cooperate or collaborate with the incoming government. We don't have any problem. Our focus is 2027. That doesn't mean we should bring down the country before 2027. So now, how can you accuse such a person of playing at the party? Is he selling out? I mean, like is he giving the party to Kushiri Tinubu? And I think they have made on 3 occasions. The second occasion was when our governor took over in Kano, and he had to do carry out some demolition. The matter got to Tinubu. Maybe people from Kano APC guys told him, and as a friend of our candidate, he invited him. And the candidate opened the book for him why those demolitions were carried out. And to the report he gave to us, the president was convinced that. So how do you now place those ones as anti-party? Did he sell out? The elections were already over. You can only do anti-party if you are doing something to hurt the interest of your party. Like somebody going on television that we have suggested our election, we are not taking part, that we are supporting somebody. So how can you accuse somebody who met a president after election of being anti-party? So it's just one of those things. We see them, and then we just laugh. It's just a matter of having something to hold on to carry out an action. But we always say, it shows that NNPP is now a big party. Because when we were very small, nobody knew us. We just have an administration where one person was the NWC. We had one person was the NWC. And he does whatever he likes. If he doesn't like the face of the chairman, he just writes you as NWC has suspended or expelled you. By Monday, he has appointed another person. But we now have a party that has a structure. We have the NWC, made up representatives from the states. We have the NEC. We have the convention. It's only that because when we started in February/March, we were able to put in place an NWC. We were able to put in place a NEC based on the constitution that has spelled out those who can be members of NEC. And they were able to put in place an NWC. But unfortunately, because the time was so short, we were preparing for election and we had a deadline to beat. Our next deadline. We have not been able to set up a proper board of trustees. Board of trustees is not what an individual can just sit down and be putting names. The process is there. Because it's going to be tedious. You must have representatives from across the states. And they have some areas that they said you must belong to. So it has not been easy for us to set up a board. And as we speak today, if you're talking of NNPP that is known to INEC, we don't have a board.
All right, just 2 questions, and if you can quickly, because of time now. 2 things I want you to quickly respond to. Is there hope of reconciliation? Mr. Major's side, the acting national chairman there, has said that there's some level of deceit to your part of the party. And then also, quickly, your reaction to the election, the tribunal at Kano State, and then sort of sacking your governor.
Yes, when where I come from, they said even the tongue and the mouth or the teeth, the quarrel, nobody settles it for them. We believe we are a member of one family. Bigger parties have had bigger issues in the past and they have resolved them. To us, the more the merrier. But one thing is that we must follow the laws. Are you getting my point? We must follow the law. And I think to us, we don't see them as a faction. Because some of them has been expelled, some of them has been suspended. They have ceased to be members of the party. So the issue of faction doesn't come to us. We see them as a group. Because if you have gathered people that have been expelled, suspended, and you are giving them offices that is not recognized by INEC, we don't see that as a faction. We only see it as a gang or a group of people. And then going to the Kano election, as a political party that has so much respect for the judiciary, we won't want to cast aspersion on the judiciary. Like we said in our release at our press conference, we respect the judgment, but we reject the judgment. That is why, as I speak with you, we have filed an appeal. You know, the expiration date is tomorrow, 14 days after the judgment has been given. But I can assure you, we have filed an appeal. And you see, the kind of thing has even shown how NNPP has been accepted. Because interestingly, even those who are not members of our party have been asking questions. What manner of judgment is this? Even professors of law. So we believe that we have a good ground to go to the appeal court. We have done that because tomorrow is the deadline, like I said. And we are very sure that we are going to get justice.
Thank you, sir.
Even the foreign observers who came to observe the election addressed a press conference where they told the world and people of Nigeria that the election they observed, they monitored in Kano, NNPP won. How do I mean? In the 2 senatorial seats, we had 2. We won 2. In about 24 House of Reps, we have 18. In the presidential election, our candidate defeated the current president in Kano State. Now you go to House of Assembly, where we have about 26 out of 40. Now tell me, how somebody will now from the Blues win election of the governorship? So we are not losing any sleep. We believe that the judiciary is a place we can have comfort, and we believe we are going to get justice at the appeal court. All right,
thank you so much, Mr. Adipo Olayoku. It's been a pleasure, and it's good to hear your side of the story. Hopefully we see how this turns out, because at the end of the day, we do need a robust opposition, and however it ends, we do hope that your party and others will do their job in that regard. Thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's how we come to the end of this segment. I've been speaking to Mr. Adipo Olayoku, who is the National Secretary of the NNPP, and we've been speaking on the issues within the party. We will be looking forward to updates on that matter. But that's how we end this segment. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll be delving into the Kogi State elections, coming elections, and the issues of allegations of violence and proposed violence come election day. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.